Thank you, Hermie. As you see the 10 of Brad Foy, who's spun down in 1 and 2. Tell if he got into the wall or if he was able to stop just before making contact.
He got into the corner. A lot of times you just barely touch that outside safer barrier. A lot of times you get in the corner, maybe get a little wheel hop, trying to use a little bit too much rear brake, and around.
So there was a spot that opened up closer to the front. The two pulled in there, and like he was parking to get ready to go to lunch.
Oh, wheel hop.
And around goes to 17 and into the wall.
You could hear the wheel hop, couldn't you?
Down, one coming.
And that will stop the clock. So now those teams wondering how much time they would need to go out onto the racetrack.
I am sure that I actually heard the rear wheels hop.
Look at it again.
Yeah, right there. Look at the right rear. Talked about wheel hop. We saw it in practice. The first practice, we saw it last year in this race. We saw it in the spring race.
So just listen here. You heard the engine revving, and you heard the rear tires hopping on and off the racetrack. So look right here at the right rear tire as it comes into view. He's already going to start to spin out, but watch the rear tire. He almost has it saves, and then right here, the rear tire is going to, look at it right there, bouncing, and around it comes.
Three has gotten into the wall. So Austin Dillon.
This has been an eventful qualifying.
Yeah, already. And the clock once again stops with 9 minutes, 11 seconds to go.
We've only had 17 cars take time. We see right here the 3. He's crashed before he ever gets to the corner. You saw the back come around, couldn't turn the wheel, and then, like you said earlier, the back is still hopping as he tries to get on the brakes, and eventually you just run out of real estate.
That looks exactly like what happened to them in New Hampshire.
Right.
I mean, when I was watching that, it was almost a replay of their wreck in practice. So these cars have sat, and they have no heat in them whatsoever. You see the right rear tire, it's rear lockup, and without that heat in the tires and the rotors and the wheels, it just brakes differently. And it's surprising these guys that it has that much rear brake. It's an easy fix. It's just putting front brake to it to take this problem away. But you have no reason to think you need to put front brake to it. And you don't want to put front brake to it because it hurts the way the car turns.
Just about ready for the green. Chase Elliott, the pole winner on the inside. On the outside, it's Daniel Suarez racing at Martinsville.
It's all about getting down to the inside. You saw Cameron Haley, that 13 truck, turn hard left to get to the inside.
Paz Grala is going to get stuck 3 wide on the outside. That's not where you want to be.
He's going to lose some spots for it. Cole Custer really digging on the inside there in that 0-0, trying to keep Daniel Suarez on the outside and get that second place spot.
Spin right in front of our leader.
And into the wall.
I think that was the one of Josh White.
Fortunately, Sauter had enough room to see it. There's a second truck involved in that as well.
That's Kyle Donahue, that 16-year-old in the 63, came along after the fact.
Wow, you think maybe Donahue saw the crash and slowed and somebody booted him from behind?
Or locked up the brakes and around he went and made some contact with that left rear quarter. Pretty hard, significant contact with that left rear quarter panel.
Both of those guys are making their Truck Series debut. They didn't want it to wind up like that, for sure.
It certainly doesn't want to meet down there.
Bring it straight to pit road. Bring it straight to pit
Guys
road.
indicated, but also Johnny Sauter, the race leader, fortunate enough to be back just enough that where he didn't get caught up in that.
Wow. Donahue just got loose on entry, maybe saw the truck spinning, added a little bit extra brake pressure, locked up those rear tires, got to wheel hopping, and around it went. That's most likely what happened.
It looked like he actually hit the wall harder than the one truck of Josh White.
Yeah, he can't even drive his away. Keep that guy in front of you honest. Don't let him save his stuff.
Spencer Gallagher, significant damage into the wall.
Yeah, it looks like a right front tire went down.
Keep coming here. Couple more coming inside.
Gallagher was back in the 15th spot.
Come down, come down.
Tough braking. Once again, our caution clock.
Don't think I hit the wall too bad.
That's good news. Sounds like he lost a tire. No indication, just wind.
For the 23 of Gallagher.
He was right in between the 18 of Harrison Burton and the 20 of Austin Hill. Again, no warning whatsoever. It just went. He's right, though. He did not make that hard a contact with the outside safer barrier.
Yeah, it could have been a
Has
lot
not
worse.
been able to shake Christopher.
This is another track that Bell felt like wasn't maybe his best kind of track. He spent a lot of time watching videos of races here, in-car video, working on iRacing to get a handle on it.
But his
they
crew
really
chief is so good here, though, Vince.
Yep, and he's been good as a driver, as you see him dive underneath Crafton and get that spot away from Matt Crafton.
Matt's going to lose another spot to Cameron Haley. Something's wrong with Matt Crafton. Maybe brake issue.
He talked about that earlier, said his pedal was not solid.
Stay low. I know you don't have your brakes. Stay low.
Caution is out. The 44 of Tommy Joe Martins over in turn 2.
Or was that? Look at that. Look at that.
We saw that. Saw an issue at Loudon with Daniel Hemrick, a left rear brake fire that took him out of the playoffs.
Remember, Matt talked about his brake pedal being soft, and if he didn't pump them up when he hit the brakes hard, he would have only rear brakes, which makes it really challenging to drive because it makes those trucks so loose because it slides the rear tires getting in the corner. So maybe having used predominantly rear brakes, that he overheated them, and obviously overheated them. Wow. They're on fire.
Suarez is right behind him. Christopher Bell, they're all stacking up and they're all going to get around, and Harrison Burton has gone around down in turn 1.
Fired up. Fired up.
Looks like Austin Terrio will get the free pass. Matt Crafton needs that position, but Terrio was ahead of him. They're back in the 21st and 22nd position. Harrison Burton was running inside the top 10 when he went spinning around, and he's going to lose a lap.
We can see what happened is that Timothy Peters gets in the back of Harrison Burton and sends him around. I saw the mark on the rear bumper. His truck, last time we saw it, was clean. I felt like he probably had some help getting around there.
And you can see there's a gap between where Burton was running and the truck ahead of him. That means Timothy Peters saw the laps were running down. He saw that gap was there, needed that spot, got to the inside, and Burton tried to close the door. Timothy said, I can't give that spot up this late.
Check.
Oh, and we got a spinner in turn 2.
A little bit of contact from John
chaser.
Townley coming in. So the 33 of Ben Kennedy spins. I don't think he was going to have any damage until Townley just couldn't get stopped in time and got into him.
And I think probably Ben Kennedy's probably going to be okay with that minimal damage there, but Matt Crafton will get our free pass. A lot of damage to the Zaxby Chevy.
The 33 goes around, maybe a little help from the 41 of Ben Rhodes.
Overheard a spotter saying it was the 41 that got us.
And then you see that John West Townley just couldn't get stopped in time.
Just about got stopped, but a lot of damage, though, to his Chevy.
You see that there, just hits him in the back.
Just gets in the center of the corner, just gets in the throttle beforehand.
In the middle of 1 and 2, behind the 05 of John West Townley.
See, very right side of your screen, the 33 truck just spun here. So I think everyone's going to seize up when they see the caution. You see Matt slow down, then Cole Witt slows down, and Matt Tift gets in the back of the 92 of Cole Witt.
Just an accordion effect. Everybody checking up when they see the spin. A half mile to go.
Chase has 2 decisions to make. Do I hit him in 1 or not? And do I hit him in 3 or not?
Great 1 and 2 for Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, great turn by Sauter. Might be enough, Phil.
Through 3 and 4. Johnny Sauter's going to do it. Punching the ticket to Homestead. He'll race for the championship. Sauter wins at Martinsville.
Johnny, you're awesome. Guys, everybody, great job. Great job, guys.
And we worked really hard to get here. And, me and Johnny coming back to Martinsville, it's like a dream come true. And, it wasn't that easy. We had to work for this one, but we had a pretty good truck.
And you're going to Homestead to race for a championship.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Now we're in, we're primed up. Now it's all about working for Homestead.
Joe Shear, he's going to victory lane.
In the spring here at Martinsville, Johnny Sauter finished last. Today, he finishes first. Isn't that a great sport? Huh? Victory lane, it is reserved for that 21 truck of Johnny Sauter. He told us all weekend long that it was going to be good, and it was. And you see some people upset with Ben Kennedy having conversation down in the garage area. Frustrated with Ben Rhodes.
We talked about it. There were going to be some hurt feelings after the race. Always is here.
We talked about in the open, fighting for space, and then maybe some fighting in the garage afterwards. And Kennedy, it is tight quarters racing, and there's no question Rhodes got into the back end of him. Whether or not that's just part of it at Martinsville, or whether Ben's got a real beef there.
From what I saw, Ben Kennedy should be upset. He didn't cut Ben Rhodes off. They were in the center of the corner, and Ben Rhodes just hit him right in the back. When you get hit right in the back and spun around, that's excessive, no matter where you're at. But again, Vince, like you said, it's Martinsville. There's going to be contact. Ben just felt like it was enough contact that he needed to explain to Rhodes what he thought about it.
Let's hear from him. Caitlin?
Yeah, Vince, Ben with me now. Just exchanging some words with Ben Rhodes. Can you tell me what happened from your perspective and what that conversation entailed?
He just wrecked us, plain and simple. He'd given us a headache all day. He tried to wreck us earlier. He failed at it, and he wrecked us over in turn 2. So it's really unfortunate. We're racing here for a chase, and he wants to race him that way. I'm going to race him back that way.
Thank you, Ben.
You could see there, he was just right square behind him and hit him in the back.
Yeah, Vince, he was the runner-up today. Very close battle there at the end with you and Johnny Sauter. Did you feel like you had anything for the 21?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Looking back, obviously, I wish I had done a little something different. I got loose off 2, coming back to the checker, and that was probably my opportunity to try to get him. But hey, I mean, you got to be careful. Those guys are racing for a championship, and for me, you know, some days it's just not worth, you know, making a mistake and wrecking the guy or whatever. So obviously wish we could have got him, but I appreciate everybody's hard work. I feel like I learned a lot today, and at the end of the day, that's the most important thing for tomorrow.
Thank you. Now Chase Elliott will focus on the Cup race for tomorrow.
Joy of Victory Lane.
Johnny Sauter climbs out in Victory Lane at Martinsville for the 3rd time of his career. Cold, but enjoyable. Johnny, you've got now three of these grandfather clocks, but I can't imagine any of them are more important than this one. You are going to Homestead and race for a championship.
That's the ultimate goal. I can't thank everybody at GMS Racing, GMS Fabrication. This is a GMS truck. Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff, Chevrolet, ECR horsepower. All these guys, you know, I had brake trouble early in the race, and I feel like it's one of the smartest races I ever ran. People don't accuse me of being very smart a lot of times, but just try to take care of it, just kept riding in third and just trying to save them. And then I knew with 40 to go, I could do what I needed to. But so proud of Joe and all these guys. The Ganassi pit crew was flawless, and I thank Allegiant Travel and the Gallagher family for giving me this opportunity. This is special.
You spent most of the race today, as you mentioned, racing with the 00 and the 71. You were confident pretty much all day when it came down to it. You could get the job done?
Well, I knew I had a little left in the tank, if that's what you're asking. So, you know, when I had a little bit of brake trouble there when I was leading, I thought, well, I'll just put a bunch of rear brake in it and hope for the best, and just hung on. And cautions couldn't have fell any more perfect today. We kept our track position, what was most important. But just a total team effort, and I'm so proud. I thank the Blessed Mother and Sacred Heart.
The last few laps, the 71 of Chase Elliott was on your bumper. What were you expecting from him, and did you get the kind of racing you expected from Chase Elliott?
Yeah, I mean, me and Chase had a late model race down in Georgia a few years ago where it didn't quite turn out as good as I had hoped. So I was hoping that it wouldn't be a repeat of that. But, you know, he was here. I think he kind of knew the picture, and it was an awesome day for Chevrolet. We dominated the race, I think, from start to finish. So, but Chase did a great job. I think he was here just to get some practice for tomorrow. So it's cool when you can beat, you know, organizations like that and beat drivers like that. So I'm just proud and very humbled to be here.
That's Johnny Sauter, Caitlin.
Puts his name in the Final Four. Still got a couple of races left to go here in the round of 6. Texas next week and then Phoenix. But Sauter already knows he's going to race for the championship in Homestead on November 18th.
2 by 2 they line up as they get ready to rocket out of turn 1 or into turn 1. And you see the King, 15-time winner here at this race. I'm sure that he took his cowboy hat off, because as soon as these cars come flying by, there's going to be a lot of wind right there.
I almost didn't know who he was without the hat on.
Cowboy hats off. Field in the hands of Martin Truex Jr. as they come out of turn 4. The King waves the green flag. We're racing at Martinsville.
Joey Logano immediately jumped on the bottom when he had that hole presented because Jimmy Johnson did not get a great start. Good break for Joey Logano.
A.J. Allmendinger has been good at Martinsville. He starts on the bottom of the track now, down in the 4th position, as Tony Stewart trying to find a line or a hole to get into.
And that's the key. If you're on the bottom, if you're Carl Edwards right there behind Chase Elliott, it is to stay on Elliott's bumper. Don't allow that 14 to get in line.
And the first caution looks to be coming out. Issue for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's a backup car. He had a problem in qualifying on Friday.
It's some pretty heavy contact for Martinsville as well. That thing is shortened up a few feet at the back of the 17.
Yeah, he either spun or got spun getting into the corner.
Meet him in the garage here, guys.
He's sitting in the middle of the corner right now, so
trying to find an opening so he can get down on the racetrack and get back to the garage, as we just heard on the communication.
He's already backwards up out of the groove, carrying quite a bit of speed. So to your point, Jeff, he either had an issue like a wheel hop issue or had some help at the end of the backstretch, but he got spun around really early. You see right here, he's high out of the groove. I don't see a car behind him. I would have to guess that looks like a wheel hop issue, wouldn't you assume?
Yeah, that would be my guess.
See, as we watch these guys, the 23 of David Reagan was very, very fast in both practice, but we see a lot of smoke out of the back of this car. I don't know if it's tire smoke or a mechanical issue. It doesn't seem like they have a lot of damage. I don't see a fender wrinkled in. They're going to have to come to pit road and find out what that issue is.
And the caution has now come out. We saw the 23 duck onto pit road quickly. They think there potentially is fluid on the track.
Yeah, and it looks like fluid smoke to me, Rick, because now that he's going slow, it's still smoking heavily, which tells me that there's some fluid leaking from somewhere.
Yeah, big disappointment. This team was very good in practice. They had a lot of speed, actually led the final practice. They're trying to pass lap cars, and they're not just blowing by them. It's difficult to make these passes.
Brian Scott, he's got some damage to the right side of that car. That's probably going to have to bring him to pit road.
Yeah, this is the second time we saw the 44 go around. They were able to repair it, but he wheel hopped earlier in the weekend and damaged the right rear quarter panel. It looks like he has another pretty good contact with the wall. On board with the 22, looking at the 44, getting into the corner. Oh, you can see the left rear tire bouncing on and off the asphalt. That is wheel hop. 44 chases it up the track, makes contact with the wall. I would bet that rear bumper must be from the 44.
Yeah, this was in practice. We talked about wheel hop. It seems to be happening more often today than it has in the past. And watch the left rear tire. You'll see it start shaking. You can almost see it stop, and then it bounces. That's wheel hop. And the only thing you can do at that point is just quit turning the wheel. If you don't, the car is going to completely spin. Guys on the outside of you at Atlanta, well, that's everything is normal, right?
There was the bumper right there. Just hit him. More contact as they go by. Two chase drivers and a lot of contact there.
Sparks flying. That's exciting. I was so surprised the 48 contested that hard. But Denny was pretty patient, but finally lost his patience. Chased him down into turn 3 here.
No, he's got trouble. The 48's got smoke.
Now we're seeing a little bit of tire smoke out of the 48. Was he racing Denny Hamlin a little too hard? There was the bumper.
And the 2 thought the door opened up. I don't blame him to try to fill the hole. The 11 couldn't get away. The 48 came down, I think, with a little purpose to try to get to that bumper, the 11.
And the caution now comes out. So a restart will be coming. We'll see what happens as far as the 48. How much
you have to beat it out, all right?
How much damage they will have to work on under this pit stop.
Just caution to work on it. There's your caution. We got some banners coming loose on the back straightaway. That Goodys.
You were wearing a Goodys shirt earlier today, I
Yeah, we came out here today to sponsor some new products.
12.5 seconds. And just that quickly, the caution has come out. 19.
He has a flat right front tire.
Yeah, he didn't hit the commitment line, but he decided to come to pit road because he knew he had to fix the tire.
Well, we talked about those melted beads. That's exactly what this looks like. Yeah, I see some damage on the fender. I'm not sure if that came before or after the right front tire went flat. He was running 9th to the pit under green flag conditions.
Here's the replay.
So on board right here, oh, that looks like a melted bead for sure. It just goes straight, and that is some heavy contact. I don't think that's just sheet metal damage.
No,
that is
that's big
heavy contact.
And again, Carl Edwards, one of the chase drivers, now having an issue. His teammate Denny Hamlin was speeding earlier on pit road. Now Carl Edwards with this damage. You see, the sparks coming out of the right front.
That's what's scary about pitting early.
Right to the limit.
Well, I thought Kyle Larson was getting ready to bring out the caution. He got into turn 3, and had some kind of problem, got up and hit the wall. I thought the caution was coming out, and it would not have surprised me. The final green flag stretch has been 10 laps or less in 10 of the 12 race races at this racetrack.
White flag in the air. One more time around for Jimmy Johnson. What an incredible race the 48 team and Jimmy Johnson have run. After having a long pit stop and going all the way to the back of the field, he's battled back. He's out front. He has punched his ticket to Homestead. Jimmy Johnson wins in Martinsville.
Yes, yes! Thank you, boys. Thank you. Burn it out, brother. Light that candle.
The team is going to celebrate. He's going to burn it down. Jimmy Johnson celebrating at Martinsville Speedway. This moment presented by Sunoco, fueling victories all season long. Think about it, too. When the caution came out, Jimmy Johnson thought he had run out of gas, thought he had lost this race, knew that he couldn't come to pit road under caution before pit road was open. Chad Canals told him, I want you to come to pit road. You need to come to pit road. Jimmy Johnson stayed out. He said, I've got it fixed. I've got it. I've got it. And he's been able to advance on now and will have a chance at the championship. Marty.
I remember being that wet about 1 year ago today with Jeff Gordon in victory lane. That's the emotion of making it to Homestead, Miami, and battling it out for a championship. Celebrating with the team. Jimmy, what a crazy day for your race team. Running out of fuel at one point. What was the panic at that moment? Did you think the day was done?
Yeah, I'm out of breath from screaming. a lot of moments, but anything you want in life, you gotta work for it. Isn't gonna come easy, and we knew that coming into this race, and there's so many challenges at this track. But just so thankful for this race team. To win on this weekend here at this racetrack with the tragedy we had here in 04. Just want to think of all the loved ones that we lost on that airplane and their families and friends, and just the right time to start winning races.
Is this a moment you have to pinch yourself that you're going to battle it out for a Homestead, in Homestead, Miami, for a championship, Jimmy?
Yeah, I've been trying to ignore this conversation about 7, and now I can't. So we're locked in. Here goes my family. Hi, sweetie.
There you go. There's Genevieve. Where's Lydia? Somewhere around here. So there she is. There she is over there with Shanny and his wife. We'll let her get a kiss in. You can't avoid the 7th conversation now because it's going to come up for the next several weeks.
Very true. I'm just honored to be in this position, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the belief that Lowe's and all their employees had in me way back when I was running about 10th or 15th in the Busch Series. Give me this chance. Rick Hendrick, Jeff Gordon, all the people that have believed in me to get me to this point. It's crazy that we have a shot at 7 now, and I just we couldn't do it without our partners, without Chevrolet and Valvoline, and the list goes on and on. Everybody knows who they are, and thank you very much.
Anytime you can join Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Richard Petty, that's a big conversation. How much will you think about that over the next 4 weeks?
Probably going to lie to you guys and say I'm not thinking about it at all, but it's inevitable. Fortunately, I don't have to think about it for 2 more weeks, 3 weeks, I guess. But we're going to enjoy this and savor this and try to get our ducks in a row for Homestead. This is cool.
You and I talked pre-race. It had been 3 years since you won here. What magic did you guys find on the 48 today that worked to get you to victory lane?
Like I told you, it was really that long run stuff. We didn't get the black right side rubber to lay down like I had hoped, but closest that we've had in a long time. And just having those long runs really suit my style and our setup of our race car.
Obviously, winning early in a round affords you some advantages, though. I know you got to think about the 7th championship thing, but now you can focus on Homestead, Miami. How will you guys approach the next couple of weeks?
Just, obviously we want to keep winning races. If we can have success at Texas, that's only going to put us in Miami with more confidence and more speed in our race cars. That is a 1.5 miles. It'll be nice to go to Phoenix and not have to worry about much. Really, the next 2, not have to worry about much. So it puts us in a great position. The work is far from over. There is one race, winner take all in Homestead, Florida, and we got to show up with our best stuff there, and we'll try to do that.
Jimmy told me a few weeks ago, in the middle of the summer, there's no way I would have believed that we would have a shot to win the championship this year. Well, guess what? They're going to Homestead, Miami with a shot to win it all, Rick.
See Casey Mears coming in and congratulating Jimmy Johnson. Again, he'll celebrate with his family and his team this big win. It's a huge win. This guarantees Jimmy Johnson a chance for a championship. The other 7 drivers in this round of 8 now are looking at points. And as you look down below the cut line, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards with a devastating day today, 32 points back. It will definitely be a big hill to climb for Carl Edwards. A year ago, the celebration that took place on the front stretch was for Jeff Gordon, who thought it was his final time racing at Martinsville. But today was actually his final time racing at Martinsville. Dave?
Well, and we'll ask Rick, maybe for now, is this your last Martinsville start? Jeff, do we know?
As far as I know, I didn't anticipate running the races that I did this year, but I think it is, and I just can't thank Greg and this 88 Nationwide Chevrolet team enough. Rick, everybody, congrats to the 48. Jimmy, wow, that was impressive. I mean, I think everybody had him written off. You know, he had the damage on the left front. I hadn't seen him in my mirror, and, you know, yeah, they caught a break, but, boy, he had to go up there and drive it and go race to 11 the way he did, and that was, I could see it from a distance, and it was impressive. So they deserve it. You know, this team deserves a lot of credit. They've had to overcome a lot of crazy madness this year, and different drivers, and, you know, the situation with Junior, and I couldn't be more proud of my last run in this car, which, you know, certainly this year I know for a fact, but I think it will be for the future as well. But I'm glad it was Martinsville. I had a lot of fun.
Well, and important, obviously, for the 48 to win today. You know what that feels like. That took you to the championship 4. What do you see in them going into that race?
Well, I mean, they've been hot right now. You know, you put those guys in a situation like this where they can advance the first round to go to Homestead. They're going to be working hard for that race. I know Homestead's not necessarily known as their best track, but when a championship's on line, especially number 7, watch what Jimmy and Chad and that 48 team can do, and all of Hendrick Motorsports will be putting every effort behind it to try to help them go get that championship.
Jeff, I know another big part for you. This is very important for the family to do well here. Finishing 6th today, how does that feel to present that to Mr. Hendrick?
It feels good. You know, it feels good to go out on a positive note. It wasn't a win, but I thought it was a really solid effort. I felt like, you know, I felt like the team just did an excellent job with the car all weekend long. And, you know, there was times I thought, man, if we could get a little bit more track position, we might be able to compete with those guys. But that last run, running 30 laps under caution, I don't know what it did to my tires, but they were just balloons after that. And I just didn't have quite the balance and the grip. So had to settle for 6. I had a great battle there with Martin Truex Jr. That was a lot of fun, and was trying to chase down those Gibbs guys, but just couldn't quite get to them.
Jeff, the fans loved it. Thank you again. And for now, Jeff will hang up the fire suit. Kelly?
Denny Hamlin recovered from an early pit road speeding penalty to contend for this win. And early in the race, you had the edge on the 48. What were you lacking there at the end to fight for this win?
Well, we thought we were going to come back out under green flag conditions, and we made an adjustment for that, and it just was not good because the caution came out. So we just missed it that last run. I'm just confused on the scoring, why they couldn't get the scoring right. There was a couple cars that stole a lap back from us and the other leaders. So you got to get it right in these situations. Every point matters. So it's got to be a better way because there's 20 cameras all over my race car, and it shows everybody going by me. So that's disappointing that we can't get that right. But overall, our FedEx Freight Camry was decent all day. Had a top 5 car, but race-winning car at times, but you know, definitely not at the end.
And we've seen so much strength out of your team. 3 of you there battling there at the end. How intense is it becoming as we get closer and closer to this championship?
Well, you try to do everything you can to hold him off, but you got to be realistic too, and which is why I was so frustrated with the 48 earlier. Is, you know, he's got to be realistic and know that he wasn't going to hold me off for that amount of time. Which at the end of the race, I was realistic and let him go there, and so
You know, we're gonna root and gouge for every position we can. Every point matters. We've seen that in the last round, so we'll go to battle next week.
All right, Denny Hamlin finishes third here today.